All right, so you're a brand new insurance agent. You're going to be producing mid-market commercial insurance. You've just been brought in by an agency, or maybe you're an agency and you've hired a new producer. What should you expect? What should you do? How can you ensure the highest possibility that success will be the outcome of this new venture for both you, the agent, or you, the agency, or both you guys, right? Welcome to the Max Revenue Show. This is Micah Salas. I'm your host. I'm going to share with you today kind of a new series that we're going to be doing, which I think is pretty exciting, and I think you'll find very interesting and I hope valuable, regardless of what end of the spectrum you're on, new agent or the agency. So, as most of you know, who's been following me, I started my insurance career over 12 years ago. And about 2 years ago, started over as not a new agent, but started over from scratch. Left my book of business behind and have to start building from scratch. Now, our agency recently hired a new producer. He's pretty green. He had less than a year of experience in mid-market commercial and was really on a small business unit team. So what I thought would be helpful to everyone here, and since his first day was just yesterday, is to do a series where we talk about his progress, right? And give you real-time insights into how things are going, what we're doing to help. And the reason I thought this would be interesting is because I'm actually his mentor. Not really technically his manager, but for lack of better terms, I'm kind of his manager as well. I am assigned to help, guide him, to be a resource for him, but also to make sure he's on the proper path to success. So yesterday, like I said, was day one. Every week, we're going to be doing weekly check-ins, me and this producer who will remain nameless. But I thought this would be interesting to really share with people because I think so many times we talk about things after we've built it, right? Or just hypothetical, or maybe people who've left the industry are now talking what they would do. But I think there's a different component or amount of value we can pull from a situation while people are going through things. So, like I said, I'm basically his manager, and yesterday was day one. And so I'm gonna do weekly videos on our YouTube channel here, and the series will just be called, the daily life of a new producer and their manager / mentor. So I'm going to give you just a weekly update of what we're doing, what we're working on, what we're struggling with, and how we're overcoming some of those challenges. And hopefully you find it, like I said, inspirational. So this is day one. Next week will be, week two, I guess you could say. But day one, there's a couple things that I think you should, when you have a new producer come on board, there's a couple things that are important to implement with them as fast as possible. One, make sure they understand how to use your CRM system, right? They know how to get in there, create an account, but also what's their follow-up process, and are they doing taking the right steps to create follow-ups in the CRM system so it's on autopilot. They don't have to think about it. And what I told this person was that every time you make a call, as you're entering the call and the prospect, set a follow-up call right away. When we talk about cadences, I said about 5 touches in a 2-week span. We also talked about building a list, how to do that. So in your first week, hey, go build a list. Doesn't have to be huge. And we went X date kind of specific because we have that access to that data. So what's the point of calling someone you don't know when they renew? We want to call people when we know they renew in our targeted class of business. So he has a category of companies he wanted to target. Then we picked a size of company we want to target, right? And then we picked the X dates to start with. And what I had him do is he's starting, let's say it's August 1st. I said, you can start calling people in November, but you're going to be always behind, just a step behind. So why don't you start by calling January 1st renewals and then working some Februarys once August is basically near the end. And then you're always working out ahead about 4 to 5 months to get these meetings. So that's what we decided to do. And then we set a daily goal. Daily goal is 40 calls a day. And at the end of the week, he's keeping, tallies of these 40 calls a day. He's going to put them into Excel spreadsheet. and send them to me, and then we're gonna talk about it Mondays, right? Now, within the tracking of the calls, he's gonna, just old school, right? Every day, take out a pen and paper, hit your 40 calls, keep track of your yeses, your meeting set, keep track of your no's, keep track of your follow-up laters, your warm list, and then keep track of also wrong persons. So if you had 5 conversations, but 3 of them were with the wrong person, you don't want to count that into your meeting to conversation ratio. It could be misleading. The other thing I told him to keep track of was when you get a no, what is the reason for the no? And start to figure out what are your top 2 or 3 objections. What are you tripping on? I think I have a good idea what they'll be, but it's still interesting to keep track of it. So that's essentially it. And then the last thing is to keep a warm list, right? A hot list of leads that said, hey, call me back later, follow up in a month. Yeah, I'm interested. This is what keeps you excited. It's a small little thing. So I said, keep a track of this list. And then you do all these things, this week, and then let's start, next week, let's review it. Now this week, he's got a lot of other administrative things going on, so I don't know how much calls he's gonna be able to make. And I think we'll have a better indication in week number 3, kind of where, how his calls are going for him. So anyways, I just thought this would be an interesting series to share. Like I said, it'll be hopefully weekly. I'm just gonna give you my perspective as a manager. I'm going to give you kind of some struggles he's going through and what he's going through as a producer, and just share with you, right, what we're going through, and hopefully you guys will find it helpful. So that's all I have for you this show here. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click the follow button so you don't miss future episodes. And we look forward to a successful endeavor. See ya.